The subconscious mind is one of the most powerful forces in the universe. It is an internal compass that guides our decisions, forms our beliefs, stores our memories, and shapes our identity. Unlike the conscious mind, which is logical and linear, the subconscious is emotional, symbolic, and deeply rooted in pattern. And if there is one principle that governs how this invisible force is molded, it is repetition. Repetition is how the subconscious learns. This truth underpins the foundations of all habit formation, personal growth, behavior change, and spiritual transformation. Just as a drop of water, when repeated long enough, can carve through stone, the repeated exposure to thoughts, emotions, and actions slowly etches new grooves into subconscious. Let's explore how this principle operates across mental, emotional, spiritual, and behavioral domains, and why it holds the key to mastering your reality. To understand the power of repetition, we must first understand the nature of the subconscious mind. Unlike the conscious mind, which is analytical, reasoning, and only active during wakefulness, the subconscious is constantly on. It is the autopilot system running 95% of your daily behavior. It is a realm of deeply ingrained patterns, your fears, beliefs, desires, instincts, and reactions. It is said that by the age of 7, most of your subconscious programming is complete. In those early years, a child is in a theta brainwave state, highly impressionable, absorbing information like a sponge. This is why the words, emotions, and experiences you were exposed to in your childhood continue to influence you as an adult, often without your awareness. But here's the good news. The subconscious is not fixed. It can be reprogrammed. And repetition is the doorway. The subconscious doesn't understand logic. It understands patterns, emotion, and consistency. That's why telling yourself, I am confident, once won't change a thing. But repeating, I am confident every single day, while feeling the emotion of confidence, can begin to rewrite the internal script that says, I am not enough. The subconscious is like fertile soil. Whatever you plant repeatedly, through thought, words, or action, will eventually grow. Whether you plant seeds of success or seeds of self-doubt is entirely your choice. But repetition is the water. Your identity is a pattern. It's a story that has been told and retold to yourself thousands of times. You may think you are shy or weak or undisciplined, but where did those beliefs come from? More than likely, they were repeated to you or by you over and over until they solidified as truth. Here's how repetition reprograms identity. Thought, emotion, behavior, identity. If you constantly think, I'll never be successful, that thought produces an emotion of discouragement. That emotion informs your behavior. You procrastinate, self-sabotage, or play small. Do that long enough, and your subconscious accepts, I'm not capable, as your identity. But if you change the pattern, if you repeatedly affirm new truths, visualize new outcomes, and take consistent aligned actions, you begin to form a new identity. I am focused. I am capable. I am disciplined. Say it, feel it, act on it. Over time, it becomes your default setting. Habits are repeated actions, and actions, when practiced often enough, become automatic. This is the bridge between conscious decision and subconscious behavior. Let's say you want to build a habit of waking up early. The first few days are hard. You must fight your comfort, override resistance, and make a conscious effort. But after a few weeks of repetition, your subconscious begins to take over. You wake up earlier without even thinking about it. You've carved a new groove. This is true in all areas: discipline, fitness, relationships, communication, self-talk. Repetition creates rhythm. Rhythm becomes routine. Routine becomes reality. The mistake most people make is quitting too early. They repeat a new behavior for a few days, don't see immediate change, and conclude it doesn't work. But the subconscious does not respond to sporadic inputs. It responds to consistent, emotionally charged repetition. Affirmations work when used properly. The key lies in 3 factors: repetition, emotion, visualization. Saying, I am wealthy once a week is useless. But saying, I am wealthy and abundant every day, with deep emotion in a meditative state, while visualizing your dream life, has a powerful effect on the subconscious. The mind begins to search for evidence of this truth. It shifts your perception. You begin acting, thinking, and attracting in alignment with that affirmation. The subconscious mind does not differentiate between imagined and real experience. So repeated affirmation, especially when combined with feeling and mental imagery, can override old programming and create new neurological pathways. Just as repetition can build, it can also destroy. You can unlearn old programming the same way it was learned, through repetition. Let's say your subconscious carries a deep-rooted fear of rejection. Perhaps you were criticized often as a child, and you began to associate self-expression with pain. That association is now buried deep, and it colors every social interaction. You avoid speaking up. You downplay your worth. You can't erase that fear through logic. You must retrain the mind through safe, repeated experiences that contradict the old story. Start speaking up in low-risk environments. Affirm your value daily. Surround yourself with people who support your expression. Do this again and again. Each repetition weakens the old program and strengthens a new one. From a scientific perspective, repetition creates neural pathways. The more you repeat a thought or action, the stronger that pathway becomes. It's like walking through tall grass. The first time is hard, but the more you walk the same path, the more the grass bends. Eventually, a clear trail forms. This is known as neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to rewire itself. But repetition is a tool. Every time you think a new thought or take a new action, you are firing neurons. Fire them enough, and they wire together. That's how new habits, beliefs, and identities are formed. The subconscious doesn't just hold habits. It holds trauma. Emotional pain, if not processed, gets stored as trapped energy. It becomes a trigger, a wound, a limitation. Repetition is also a tool for healing. Every time you allow yourself to feel, rather than suppress emotion, you're telling your subconscious, it's safe to release this. Every time you speak the truth, when you used to hide, you're repeating a new signal. It's safe to be seen. Every time you forgive, instead of holding resentment, you're rewiring the pattern of reaction. Healing is not a one-time event. It is a repeated choice to show up differently, over and over, until the wound becomes wisdom. In personal growth, many chase intensity, the big seminar, the breakthrough moment, the 10-hour meditation. But none of that matters if it's not followed by consistent repetition. You can't change your life in one emotional high. Real transformation happens in the small, daily, repeated actions that nobody sees. 10 minutes of journaling every morning. 5 daily affirmations spoken aloud. 1 hour of focused work consistently. Daily breath work or meditation or stretching. Saying no to distractions again and again. The man who repeats small disciplines daily will outgrow the man who waits for motivation. Your future is not built by chance. It is scripted through repetition. Imagine you're a screenwriter. Every day, you write a few lines of the same scene. Eventually, that scene becomes your life. If you constantly write scenes of failure, conflict, and limitation, don't be surprised when life reflects it. But if you start rewriting, I am powerful, I attract opportunities, I take bold action, I trust myself, and if you say these lines over and over with feeling and belief, then life will begin to match your script. That's not magic. That's subconscious reprogramming. Repetition works both ways, for better or worse. If you constantly repeat negative thoughts, media, and conversations, you are programming self-doubt and fear. The subconscious doesn't filter content. It simply absorbs. That's why it's vital to guard your inputs. Choose what you listen to. Surround yourself with empowering messages. Repeat truths that uplift and expand you. Read the same life-changing book 10 times if needed. Listen to mentors, teachings, and wisdom that reinforce your higher self. Remember, the mind becomes what it repeats. Repetition is the bridge between knowing and embodying. You may know that you should be confident. You may understand discipline. You may be aware of your goals. But unless those truths are practiced and repeated, they remain surface level. True mastery happens when a truth moves from your head into your nervous system, when it becomes instinct. That only happens through repetition. The man who trains his mind daily, who rehearses success, practices gratitude, affirms strength, and acts in alignment will become what he repeats. In many spiritual traditions, repetition is sacred. The repetition of a mantra is not superstition. It's a tool to focus the mind and impress the subconscious. Devotion itself is repetition. Prayer, breath, worship, surrender, all of it is repeated, not because God needs it, but because we do. The ego resists repetition. It wants novelty. But the soul thrives in rhythm, devotion, and constancy. When you repeat a sacred phrase or meditate daily, or come back to the breath again and again, you're not just calming the mind. You're creating a subconscious sanctuary, a place of stillness, strength, and clarity. Repetition is the master key. In the end, repetition is not just how we learn, it's how we become. What you repeat becomes what you believe. What you repeat becomes what you embody. What you repeat becomes what you attract. What you repeat becomes who you are. So ask yourself, what am I repeating? Because whether it's a thought, a word, a story, or a habit, what you repeat today will shape your tomorrow. You can't escape this truth. You can only choose to use it wisely. The subconscious is always listening. Speak to it through repetition. Train it through consistency. Let it through feeling. And in time, it will lead you into the life you were born to live. Repetition is how the subconscious learns. Master this, and you master yourself.